Hey guys, welcome to Beyond Bricks. I am your host, Kevin Stewart. Guys, we're getting closer to fall. I think summer is coming to an end. A few episodes back, we were talking about the seasons and understanding the seasons you're in. And I got to have the beautiful conversation of telling you guys how much I love all four seasons. And fall is one of my favorites. There's this going back to school rhythm, right? The kids are going back to school. Everyone's getting back in that rhythm. There's a piece of fall that starts to feel more rhythmic to me. There's a piece to fall that allows my family, at least in the season that I'm in with having two young ones, allows more rhythm to come into our lives. Guys, the summer's tough. The summer's super tough. Why? Because there's so much going on. This last episode, we were talking about that. We were talking about being busy and how busy life can be and how you got to find time in the spaces and time in the moments for your priorities. And summer is really, really difficult to do that. It's hard to predetermine your decisions properly in the summer. Those predetermined decisions are tough. But as we move into the fall, I feel like there's a way and a space to create rhythm. We've got football on again on the weekends. Gosh, does that bring me energy? I love football. I love it. I love college football, pro football. I'm a sports guy. I think sports are a blast. It allows for conversations, excitement. There's so much fun that happens around that. So as I'm going through this and as we're continuing through our series, I'm getting more and more excited, more and more pumped up for the journey that we are going on. And today, what we're going to talk about, the difference between character and talent. See, because everybody thinks that talent is the most important thing. Everybody believes that talent is the most important thing, but how often do you see someone who has all the talent on the planet? You can see, or an athlete that comes in, I can think of dozens of basketball players over the years that came in either out of high school or coming out of college into the pro game that everyone was like, man, they got all the talent on the planet. They're unstoppable. And something happened. Something happened with their character. Something went wrong and they just never panned out. But then you get the opposite. You get someone that comes in that doesn't really seem to have all those pieces. They don't really seem to have what you would say would be a prototype person that would find success in what they're pursuing. But they figure it out. And they don't just figure it out for a while. They keep it open forever. They have longevity. They have incredible careers. What's that defining factor? Guys, I think it's character. Talent can open a door all day long. Talent will always get you in the room. But your character decides how long that door is going to stay open. That is the defining factor. The character is what decides when and how long that door is going to be open in your life. Because you can ruin it in a moment. You can absolutely ruin it in a moment. I've seen so many people. I've met so many people. They weren't necessarily the smartest. They weren't the most gifted. They weren't the most charismatic. They weren't the person that you would find to be the most talented human. But doggone it, did they know how to win. They found a way to win in life over and over and over. And the defining factor that I believe causes that to happen is character. I believe it's in character. In my 20 plus years of experience in my industry, I've witnessed it over and over. I've seen people come into this industry that I would have sworn would have done amazing things. They were super charismatic. They could talk to anybody. They had all the pieces. They had all the right tools. They were good looking. They were this, they were that. I'm like, holy cow, they are a prototype salesperson. And 2, 3, 4 years later, they're gone. They're fly by night. They're there for a while and gone the next day. And before you know it, they're completely forgotten inside of our industry. They don't leave a big impact. They don't really do anything for the industry except for they showed up for a fleeting moment. And I've seen it so many times. But then you get the opposite. You get the complete opposite. I think of a great friend of mine and one of the best mentors I've ever had in my life, one of my very first coaches. And I would tell you without a doubt, I would argue this to anybody. He is on the Mount Rushmore of real estate professionals. Absolute Mount Rushmore. His name is Dayton Schrader. Dayton Schrader's out of Texas. He's in San Antonio, Texas, and he is arguably the greatest realtor I've ever met. He is unbelievable. Now, the best thing about Dayton is he would tell you, if he was sitting on this podcast right now, Dayton would tell you there is nothing that is wow about Dayton. There's nothing that's necessarily, if you saw him walking down the street, you'd never think he was as successful as he was and has been his whole career. If you see him speaking on stage, Or if he wasn't on stage, if he was just in the crowd, you would be like, well, that's just another realtor that wears a nice sport coat and, has a nicely pressed dress shirt on. He's a suit and tie kind of guy. He's super old school, super, super old school. He's not young. He's not flashy. He's not that guy. He's simple. But guys, he's super consistent. Super. One of the most consistent people I've ever met. He's very defined in the decisions that he makes, why he makes them, how he makes them. He's very rhythmic in the things that he does every single day. He is the consummate professional. He's one of the most professional people I've ever met. There is so many things that I have learned from Dayton Schrader, but you wouldn't say, and Dayton would not tell you, he is the most charismatic or the most talented person in the room. In fact, he would say he's not even in the top tier of the talented people in a room. But doggone it, he's probably the most successful person in most rooms that he enters when it's involving our industry. Without a doubt. Without a doubt, he is. But what's one thing that I know, that I definitively know about Dayton? His character is top notch. His character is amazing. I've seen it come out so many times. I've seen the person that he is, not just what he's talking about, but what he's being about. I've seen when he's challenged to say things and do things and be around people that are not necessarily showing the right things, that are just kind of puffing up their chest, because our industry likes to do that. We have huge egos in this industry. And when he's got around that, he's said things like, my hypocrisy can only go so far. I can't do it. I can't be around that type of nonsense. I want to be real. I want to be true. I want to be honest. I want to be forthcoming with every single person that I'm around, every person I coach, every person I teach. I'm going to tell them the truth. I'm not just going to posture a position. I'm going to tell them the truth. See, Dayton has character. He has deep character. And I believe that's why he has had the career he's had, because he has done things that most realtors couldn't even dream of in our industry. He has built an amazing business with amazing people, with an amazing staff, and he's done it the right way. And he's done it with an edge of character. It's incredible to watch, but it wasn't his talent. It's his character that got him there. That's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk and have 5 conversations like we've been doing. Have these 5 conversations around some points inside of this on why. Why does character beat talent? Why? Because the world should tell us that talent's all that matters. People come into things all the time thinking their talent will get them everywhere they want to go. And then life has a very interesting way of taking that apart. Very interesting way of taking that apart. First conversation, talent gets attention, but character is what builds trust. See, again, talent is going to open the door. That's what's going to get you the attention. That's what's going to get the magazine to call you. That's what's going to get them to come and say, hey, you're the next greatest basketball player in the state of Michigan. But the character is what builds the trust long term. Talent's going to get you noticed, but character is going to come out eventually. You can impress someone in 5 minutes, without a doubt. Anybody here, if you have the right skills, if you have the right talents, if you have the right abilities, you can impress somebody with what you're good at inside of 5 minutes. But it could take 5 years for them to really know who you really are. That's where longevity comes in, because you can fool someone for a small period of time, but it will eventually come out. The person that you really are will really come out. It may take 5 years to discover that, but it will come out. That's why character is the long game. Character is the long-term advantage. It's what gets you past that seal. It's what gets you past the spot where you're going to be in something for a very long time. You're going to have and be remembered inside of what you do for a very long time. It's the character that gets you there. People are eventually going to figure out that you don't keep your word, you can't be trusted, that you don't show up. But are you the same person when no one's watching? That's the key. That's what character really is. Are you the same person when no one's watching? Or are you only this way when the spotlight's on? When the camera's running, is this the only way you are? Guys, I can sit here and tell you all day long, I am far from perfect. I am very, very far from perfect. I'm nowhere near it. I've made so many mistakes. I've done some terrible things in my life. Things that I shy away from admitting. But the reality is I know my character. I know who I am. I know what I believe. I know what's important to me. And I do everything I can to live it every single day. Not just when I'm in front of the camera or when I'm talking to you guys or when I'm around other people. I do everything I can to actually live that. I spend a ton of time in personal reflection, making sure that I am who I say I am. That I'm working every day to be better so that no one can come up to me and say, you're a liar. You're full of it. You're full of crap. I don't want that. And I've had people say that. And you want to know what? At times they were right. can tell you at times they were absolutely right, because there's been plenty of times in my life where I was not living the words that were coming out of my mouth. I just was not living the words that were coming out of my mouth. I was saying one thing and doing something else. It's no good anymore. It's not the standard that I'm going to hold myself to. It's not the standard that my family, that my friends, that the people around me, that my company deserves. That's not the standard. So I'm going to hold it to a new standard. I have a lot of talent. I'm very good at a lot of things. I'm very good at my industry, but I know that character is what builds the trust. Character is what builds the long term. It's the longevity of what I'm going to do and who I'm going to be. Second conversation, character is revealed when things get hard. It's super easy to put on a happy face when your bills are paid, when you got extra money in the bank, when you got plenty of food in the fridge, when you got business coming out of your ears, when so on and so forth. Guys, it's really easy to be a happy person. It's really easy to have a smile on your face. But what about when things are going wrong? What about when someone disappoints you? How about when you lose? When you lose the game and things don't go your way? When business slows down and the things that you were planning and the goals that you set, guys, they may not get achieved. Who are you then? Who are you when things aren't going right? Because character is revealed when those things happen. That's when the true person comes out. That's when the person you are. When pressure doesn't introduce you to a new person. Pressure doesn't introduce you to a new person. It introduces you to yourself. Pressure introduces you to the person that you really are. That is when you are going to find out absolutely what you're made of. When the real pressure comes on, and when times are tough and when things aren't going right, that's when your true character is going to come out. That's when you're going to find out who you really are. That's going to reveal to everybody the person that you are. Guys, I've had a lot of hard times. I've had some terribly difficult times in my life. You want to know what I do? I double down. I double down on myself. I double down on making sure that I'm getting my head right every morning. I double down on making sure that I am working on personal growth. I go to the gym more. I spend more time in quiet. I spend more time reading. I spend more time listening to podcasts. I spend more time putting great things into my ears, into my head, into my heart. That's what I've had to do. Because what I'm doing is I'm making sure that my character doesn't snap, that I don't do something that I'm going to regret. So I double down. When times get hard, double down on growing and becoming the person that you say you want to be. You have to go that much harder when times get tough. That's when your character is going to come out. The third conversation, character is built in the small decisions. We tend to think that character is built in the huge, giant, defining times in our lives. But I think it's built in the small spaces. I think it's built in the things, like we said before, when no one's watching, when no one's around, when the cameras aren't on, when you're by yourself. Are you doing your workouts? Are you spending time in prayer? Are you spending time in peace? Are you taking gratitude walks? Are you finding ways to say thank you? Are you making your phone calls? Are you keeping your promises? Are you showing up on time every single day? Are you showing up for the people around you? Or are you just walking through life with excuses? Guys, it's the small spaces. It's those small nuances. I believe that is where character is built. Character is built in knowing that you're doing the right things consistently. The small right things that add up to huge things later. It's those small decisions. That's where character is built. Doing the right thing when the wrong thing is really easy. We all know what doing the right thing is. That is a non-negotiable inside of our company. It's written on our walls. Doing the right thing, we all know the difference. We know what the right thing is to do, but are we doing it? And are we doing it when the other thing would be easier? And you want to know what? No one would even notice. Guys, that's an internal thing. You got to know, you got to live with yourself. You got to lay your head on your pillow at night knowing you did or did not do the right thing. That's character. That's knowing that you have to look at yourself in the mirror the next day and you have to be okay with the person that you are. You have to be okay with the person that's looking back at you. When you lay down on your pillow at night and you're staring up at the ceiling, are you happy with the day that you achieved? Are you happy with the decisions that you made? Can you lay and close your eyes in peace and thank God for the day that he gave you and be happy with the way that you attacked that day? Be happy and have gratitude for the way and the decisions that you made. Or are you laying there every night saying, well, I was given the opportunity, but I think I blew it. I think I messed up. I think I screwed up. Which one is it? Because it's those small decisions, those daily nuances and those daily gut checks. That's character. That's internal competitiveness. That's internal motivation of wanting to be better tomorrow than you are today? Are you taking the time to do that? Because character is built in those small decisions. The fourth conversation, character requires humility. My industry, again, is absolutely chock full of ego, so much ego. And I can tell you from personal experience, I used to have one. I still do. I absolutely have an ego. Now, what I choose to do with that ego and how I choose to acknowledge and let that ego be in charge is up to me. But in my early 20s, when I was first in this industry, my ego got super inflated. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. There's still people I guarantee to this day that don't like me because of the ego that I presented in my late 20s, early 30s inside this industry, because I thought I was awesome. I thought I was literally awesome because I had talent. I was good at it. But you want to know what? I didn't have the best character. I didn't, because of my ego. My stupid, big old fat inflated ego got in the way all the time. So what did I have to do? I had to learn from it. I had to gut check it. I had to realize that, you know what? I wasn't the biggest person in the room. In fact, I wasn't even close. Dayton Schrader may be on the Mount Rushmore. I'm nothing but an observer sitting there just like everybody else looking at him going, wow, maybe one day. That's it. I'm still working towards that. I'm still working and getting in the conversation with someone like Dayton Schrader. And I got a long way to go. That's pulling the ego back. That's saying I have to choose character. I have to choose all these things to get to the point where I want to go. Character says I can be successful and still be wrong. I can lead and still listen. I can teach and still learn. I can accomplish something without believing I'm responsible for all of it. That's what character says. Character says I can do both. I can be a leader, but also understand that I still need to be led. That's taking ego off the board. That's humility. And character and true growth requires, it's absolutely required to have humility, because ego has no place. Ego is damaging. Ego will hurt you. It will tear you down, and it will catch up with you every single time. Experience, important. It can create a ton of confidence. I have a lot of confidence in what I do right now. Absolutely have a lot of confidence. But healthy experience also creates humility. It creates humility because I realize that I still don't know everything. I have humility because I now know that I do not have all the answers, that I am not perfect, that I am not the best, that I am not the greatest that's ever been. Now I think I'm working towards it. I can have a healthy version of an ego. I can have a healthy version of understanding that I'm very good at what I do. I have a huge, massive, I believe in myself more than almost anyone. Well, shoot, more than anyone. If anyone, no one should believe in me more than me. No one should believe in you more than you. So you have to have that. But there's a difference between believing in yourself and not being realistic, that you still have the need and the room to grow, the need to get better, the need to be better yesterday than you were today. Character requires humility. The fifth conversation is character determines what you leave behind. The legacy that you leave on this earth is not gonna have anything to do with your talent. It's just not. The talent that you bring is a part of it. It's gonna matter, but the character is what's gonna determine what you leave behind. People will remember production. They'll remember the company you built. They'll remember the things that you did for a time. They'll remember it for a little bit. Records are made to be broken, guys. Just because you did something awesome, let's say you broke a record, eventually someone's going to come along and break it. It's just the truth. No matter what that record is, there's very few records that are going to ever go unbroken. The things that we do and the accomplishments that we believe are important in this life, they're going to be passed by someone else. And when they're passed, they're probably going to be forgotten. But what people are going to remember is, how did you treat them? Whether you kept your word, whether you helped when you didn't have to, whether you made people feel important. Those are the things that people are going to remember. They're going to have the memories of who you were and the life that you lived. They're going to remember what you did when life got hard, when life smacked you across the face. They're going to remember your reaction. They're going to remember what you did when things didn't go your way. They're going to remember how you made them feel when they were down in the dumps. That's what they're going to remember. That's what is going to determine. That character is going to determine what you leave behind when you leave this world. Because we all know there's one rule in this life, which is you're not going to get out alive. And when you're gone, how are people going to remember you? It's the character that's going to do that. I believe fully, without a doubt, that Kobe Bryant's one of the greatest basketball players of all time. If you've watched this show for the last 3 seasons, you know I talk about Kobe a lot. You want to know something? I didn't like Kobe when he was a player. I thought he was cocky. I thought he was arrogant. I thought he was not Michael Jordan? That's what I thought. I didn't like him. I also didn't like the Lakers. I'm a Pistons fan. I didn't like Kobe. I liked Kobe after he retired. Why? It's because I learned who he was. Then I started to deep dive into it. I started to get down into the nitty gritty of who Kobe Bryant was as a player. That's when I learned about Mamba mentality. That's when I learned about the way that he focused himself in and created a way of getting better every single day. And I started diving deeper and deeper and deeper. And now I can without a doubt tell you, I believe he's one of my greatest and favorite athletes of all time, without question. It had nothing to do with his performance on the court. It got him noticed. It opened the door. If he was just some other person, it wouldn't have really mattered as much. He's in the argument for the Mount Rushmore. He's in the argument for one of the greats of all time. Not just in his sport, but in any sport. He is in that argument. But you want to know what I think got him there? I don't think it was his accolades on the court. Because as talented as he was, his work ethic is what set him apart. His mentality and his ability to get better every day is what set him apart. He was not the tallest guy. He didn't have the biggest hands. He wasn't the fastest. He didn't have the biggest vertical. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of players in the NBA that had the physical talent and accolades way better than him. He had it here. He had it here. He had it in his head and his heart that he could do anything. And he had the ability to set out every day to be better than he was yesterday. You can't teach that. That is just in you. That's your character. I believe that was his character. I believe the character is what has made him one of my favorite athletes of all time. I believe it's the person that he was that has created the legacy that he's left behind. The legacy of Kobe Bryant is not basketball. It's not. It's the mentality and it's the work ethic that he brought and showed that this world was possible. He showed us it was possible. That is what determined his long-term legacy. So here's a question. And it's a tough question. It's a question I ask myself all the time. It's a question I've asked myself over the years that I've answered at times in a very shameful way. And it's a question I'm answering a lot more now in a great way. Would the people closest to you describe you in the way you describe yourself? Would the people that are closest to you describe you in the same way that you describe yourself? Would they? Because I think at times, I think I'm somebody that the people around me don't think I am. But what I'm trying to do and what I'm seeking out every single day is to be the exact same person that the world sees, that the world around me, that the people that matter most, that my children, that my wife, that my family, that my friends, the person they see is the person that I want to be. That's what I want. I want them to see the exact version that I want to present to them and that I see looking back at me in the mirror. I want that to be the same person. If you can't answer that question with honesty, you've got to find some ways to make some changes. You have to find some ways to accelerate, to get better, to change pieces and parts of your character. Because that's what's going to determine how you're remembered in this world. That's how it's going to happen. Talent is wonderful. Talent is awesome. Like, who doesn't love to have talent? I still to this day dream that I could dunk a basketball. I still do. To this day, I dream that I could dunk a basketball. But 5'11", generous 5'11" me cannot dunk a basketball. It ain't ever going to happen. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I still this day have that dream. I wish I had that talent. There's so many things. I wish I could hit a golf ball like Tiger Woods. I can't. I just can't. That's okay. But you want to know what? It's the character. It's the way I act when I play basketball or the way I act when I play golf. The way I act, the way I carry myself, the person I am with the people I'm around. That's what they're going to remember. Talent can open the door every single time, guys. But character is the determining factor on how long it stays open. You have to remember that. You guys have so much good in you. You have so many things inside of you that this world needs. And your character is one of them. You have to find a way to let that come out. Talent matters. The things that you have, the talents that you have are so important. But don't ever let them be usurped by bad character. Work on your heart. Work on your love. Work on those things. Because then the world is going to see you for the person that you're meant to be. And the world desperately needs the person that you're meant to be. Have a good day, guys. Bye.